When Donald Trump stepped onto British soil for his latest visit to the royal family, the air was thick with the stench of hypocrisy. The former president, never one to shy away from bending the truth, doubled down on his audacious claim that he doesn't know Prince Andrew, the disgraced Duke of York. This is the same Trump who, in a 2000 interview with People magazine, gushed about how Prince Andrew was a lot of fun to be with while the two hobnobbed at Mar-a-Lago, alongside none other than Jeffrey Epstein, the notorious pedophile whose shadow looms large over both men. The receipts are undeniable. Photographs from that very event show Trump grinning ear to ear with Andrew, Melania and Epstein, a cozy quartet basking in the glow of their own depravity. Yet here we are in 2025, with Trump brazenly lying to the world's face, and King Charles III, the supposed moral arbiter of the monarchy, doing absolutely nothing to call it out. This isn't just a failure of memory, it's a masterclass in shamelessness, and the monarchy's complicity is a disgrace. Let's cut through the nonsense. Trump's claim of ignorance about Prince Andrew isn't just a lie, it's an insult to anyone with a functioning brain. The man has built a career on rewriting history to suit his narrative, but this particular fib is so blatant it's almost laughable. The 2,000 people interview isn't some obscure footnote, it's a widely circulated piece of evidence where Trump himself described Andrew as a charming playboy, a kindred spirit in the world of excess and indulgence. Add to that the Mar-a-Lago photos, Trump, Andrew, Melania and Epstein, all captured in a moment that screams, "We're in this together." These aren't grainy, ambiguous snapshots, they're crystal clear proof of a relationship that spanned years and continents. Trump doesn't just know Andrew. He knew him, in the biblical sense of shared debauchery, at events hosted by a man whose crimes would later shock the world. To stand in front of cameras in London and say, "I don't know him," is to spit in the face of truth and dare the public to call him out. And what of King Charles III, the newly minted monarch who's supposed to embody dignity and integrity? His silence is deafening, echoing through the halls of power and beyond. In a world where words can be as powerful as actions, his choice to remain quiet speaks volumes. Here's a man who spent his reign trying to polish the tarnished crown left by his mother, yet he rolls out the red carpet for a compulsive liar like Trump. This is a man who should be setting an example, yet he seems to falter at the crucial moment, while his own brother Andrew languishes in exile for his Epstein ties. The hypocrisy is staggering, a glaring contradiction that cannot be ignored. Charles knows full well that Trump and Andrew were pals, their camaraderie well documented and undeniable, that they partied together under Epstein's predatory gaze. The photos don't lie, the interviews don't lie, and the evidence is as clear as day, and the world's collective memory isn't as short as Trump seems to think. People remember and they question, yet Charles, in all his regal cowardice, chooses to remain silent, avoiding the pressing questions that demand answers, chooses to play host to this con man, a decision that raises eyebrows and questions about his judgment, offering tea and pleasantries instead of a spine-stiffening demand for accountability. In doing so, he risks tarnishing his own legacy before it has even begun. Is this what the monarchy has come to? A glorified Airbnb for morally bankrupt politicians? Let's be blunt, the monarchy is a scam, and Charles is its chief enabler. The institution thrives on pageantry and pretense, cloaking itself in tradition while ignoring the rot within. Andrew's banishment was a convenient PR move, a way to sweep the Epstein scandal under the rug while pretending the Windsors are above reproach. But welcoming Trump, a man whose lies about Andrew are as transparent as glass, exposes the monarchy's true colors. Charles isn't just complicit, he's actively endorsing a system where powerful men protect each other no matter the cost to truth or justice. The king's inaction isn't neutrality, it's cowardice, a refusal to confront the ugly reality that both Trump and Andrew are cut from the same cloth, men who've used wealth, power and connections to shield themselves from accountability. The evidence against Trump's "I don't know him" claim is overwhelming. And it's impossible to ignore the sheer volume of documentation and testimony that contradicts his denials. Beyond the People interview and the Mar-a-Lago photos, there are countless reports of Trump and Andrew crossing paths in the same elite circles, from New York to Palm Beach to London. Their names appear together in guest lists, party rosters and society columns, painting a picture of two men who were anything but strangers. They mingled at exclusive galas, charity balls and private gatherings, often surrounded by the world's most powerful and influential figures. Epstein's private jet, infamously dubbed the Lolita Express, was a revolving door for men like Trump and Andrew, who reveled in the access it provided to wealth, influence and worse. Flight logs and witness accounts place both men on or around Epstein's aircraft, further cementing their connection to the disgraced financier and his shadowy world. Trump's own words betray him. Back in 2002, he called Epstein a terrific guy who liked women on the younger side, a chilling endorsement that aligns perfectly with the company he kept. This wasn't a passing comment, it was a public acknowledgement of Epstein's reputation, and Trump's willingness to overlook it. Andrew, meanwhile, was so entwined with Epstein that he continued their friendship even after the financier's first conviction. Despite mounting public scrutiny, Andrew maintained contact, visiting Epstein's homes and appearing at his side, raising serious questions about his judgment and motivations. These aren't casual acquaintances, they're men who thrived in a world where power meant never having to say you're sorry. Their actions, associations, and words reveal a pattern of entitlement and impunity, showing just how deep their ties ran within these elite, secretive circles. The press conference in London, where Trump reiterated his denial just one day after the People interview resurfaced, was a spectacle of arrogance. Standing on foreign soil, hosted by a monarchy that's supposed to symbolize honor, Trump didn't hesitate to lie through his teeth, and why would he? He's built an empire on the assumption that people are too stupid or too distracted to care. The photos, the interviews, the documented history, they're all inconvenient truths that Trump dismisses with a wave of his hand. But the real scandal isn't just Trump's lie, it's the fact that Charles and the royal family are letting him get away with it. By welcoming him, they're not just hosting a former president, they're endorsing a man whose lies protect a disgraced prince and, by extension, the entire rotten ecosystem that enabled Epstein's crimes. Let's not mince words. Both Trump and Andrew are implicated in a world of predation, and honestly, their denials are as hollow as their moral compasses. The accusations against Andrew, his alleged involvement with Epstein's victims, his settlement with Virginia Giuffre, are, well, pretty well documented. Trump, too, has faced allegations of sexual misconduct, with multiple women accusing him of assault over decades. Their shared connection to Epstein isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. These are men who moved in circles where power trumped accountability, where women and girls were treated as commodities, and where lies were basically currency. To pretend otherwise, as Trump does with his "I don't know him" nonsense, is to perpetuate a lie that protects not just Andrew, but the entire network of enablers who've kept this machine running. Charles's role in this farce is perhaps the most infuriating. As king, he has the platform to set a standard, to demand truth from those who enter his orbit. Instead, he's chosen to play the gracious host, smiling for the cameras while Trump spins his web of lies. This isn't leadership, it's abdication. By failing to challenge Trump's denial, Charles is signaling that the monarchy is more interested in optics than ethics. Andrew may be banished, but the system that propped him up, the same system that welcomes Trump with open arms, is alive and well. The king's silence is a betrayal of every victim who's ever sought justice against men like Andrew and Trump, a reminder that power protects power, no matter how vile the truth. The monarchy's complicity in this charade exposes its fundamental flaw. It's a relic that prioritizes image over substance. Charles could have used this visit to draw a line in the sand, to say that the royal family won't entertain liars who shield predators. Instead, he's chosen to uphold a tradition of sweeping scandals under the rug, a tradition that's allowed men like Andrew to evade accountability for years. Trump's lie about not knowing Andrew isn't just a personal failing, it's a symptom of a broader disease, one that infects both the White House and Buckingham Palace. The photos don't lie, the receipts don't lie, but Trump and Charles, they're banking on the world's willingness to look the other way. In the end, this visit isn't just about Trump's lie or Andrew's disgrace. It's about a monarchy that's lost its way, drifting further from the ideals it claims to represent. The world is watching, not just for spectacle, but for a sign that the institution can still stand for something meaningful in the modern age. And then there's a former president who's never had a moral compass to lose. Charles, now at the helm, had a rare opportunity to draw a line in the sand, to show that the crown could be a symbol of integrity, not just tradition. He could have called out a lie that shields a predator and insults the intelligence of the public. Instead, he's chosen to play along, prioritizing image over honesty and comfort over courage. In doing so, he's proven that the crown is just a prop in a theater of hypocrisy, a symbol that's lost its substance. Trump and Andrew may be the faces of this scandal, but Charles is the enabler, and his silence is as damning as any lie. By refusing to speak out, he's complicit in the deception, allowing the rot to spread unchecked. The truth is out there, in photos, interviews, and the collective memory of a world that's tired of being played for fools. People remember, and the world is less willing than ever to accept empty gestures and hollow words. It's time for Charles to stop hosting liars and start facing the truth, or admit that the monarchy is just another scam, a relic propped up by denial and pretense, as cooked as Trump's endless denials. The world is waiting for a real answer, not another performance.